and the boys. They seem to spend hours in completely useless activity. That combination of new lung power, changed voices, and boundless energy is hard on the neighbors. They quarrel a lot, but the gang sticks together. They want to prove their own importance by making themselves heard.
Hey, this is Jeff.
This is Seth. And this is Kendrick.
And you're listening to A Blast from the Past podcast. Welcome back, listeners. Hey, this is Jeff. I'm here with Seth, and I'm here with Kendrick. And this week, we are going to have something a little different. This segment that we created today is called Fake News or Not. That's the whole idea, right? We're going to find out what this little deal's all about. So we've got some creations here. So I've got some stories from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And boys, I'm going to ask you, according to writing this article, I want you to listen to the article that I say. I want you to tell me if it's fake news or not.
Mm-hmm.
You excited about that?
Yeah.
So, like, we're so used to this day and age, the word fake news didn't come out till probably the last 5 or 6 years as far as being pushed by political and everything else, like fake news, fake news, fake news. But the reality is we've always got, you got Inquirer, you got magazines, things like that talk a little bit about what's fake around the world and take these stories and try to go mainstream and become popular. They always had the magazine articles talking about people like Michael Jackson and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what's great about this is you guys are going to tell me, are these real ones or are these fake? All right. So you guys ready for the first one?
Yep.
All right. Let's dig right in. So here's our first one. This one's going to be awesome. Bingo ruined her sex life.
What?
December 1974, a court awarded 53-year-old Olive Russell $23,000 in damages for a bingo accident that she said ruined her sex life. Russell sued the bingo hall after her chair collapsed during a game, causing her to fall to the ground and hurt her back and head. On account of these injuries, she said, she lost sexual interest in her husband. The court awarded her husband $115. So, bingo ruined her sex life. Is this real or is this fake? Come on, is this fake news or is this real?
I'm going to say
Fake.
real.
Fake.
So, Seth, you say fake?
Yeah.
And Kenny, you say real? It is indeed real.
Why would it be fake? He's laughing so much. It has to be.
No, because the ones I wrote were pretty damn funny, too. December 1974. Yep. It was a real one. I love it. All right.
Fucking weird.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's hard to tell what was real and what was not.
She must have been a freak. She broke her back in her head, or like hurt her head, and was like, I can't
Fuck
do
them
it no
bingo
more.
goers, man. Now I can't get home and get laid. Sucks. All right. October 1990. Seeing is believing with Four-Eye Doctor. Earlier in the fall, Dr. Phil Johnson had become the only individual to have successfully corrected his eyesight to 20/20 vision using not only his eyes, but 2 informality eyes that he was born with because of a genetic disorder. Dr. Johnson was born with 4 distinctible eyes on his face, with the assumption that he was born part of an unsuccessful conjoined twins conception.
Man,
It's
the
called
thing is,
Seeing is Believing with Four-Eye Doctor.
False.
Is the name.
see, the thing is, like, would he be creative enough to make up an entire story about a
I'm creative as
four-eyed
hell.
mutated doctor?
I literally work in
False.
corporate advertising. I'm extremely creative.
It's false.
I'm gonna say it's real.
So, Seth, you say it's false, and you say it's real. It is indeed false.
Boom.
Dude.
I made that one up.
I mean, it seemed fake, but I
Four-eyed
was
doctor.
like, it could have been a thing.
All right, Doctor.
Love
All
it.
right.
Dr. Johnson didn't give it away.
Well, it's the way you're talking about mutated people. I was like, it
Why
might
would
be
you do
real.
that? Why would you
I was
say
like,
that?
What?
All right, so the next one. All right, so October 1974. Almost struck by a poop bomb. Gotta love this shit. October 1974, as Emma Schoon, 61, sat in the living room of her Lansing, Michigan apartment, a massive chunk of ice suddenly crushed through her roof, missing her only about 6 feet. Police later determined that the ice was frozen toilet waste that had fallen from an airplane. 2 months later, Schoon had a heart attack, which she attributed to the falling waste. It was like an atomic bomb, she said. I kept thinking of that terrible, terrible noise and something you could never forget. Almost struck by a poop bomb.
But she didn't get struck by it?
She didn't get hit by it.
Well,
it
why?
landed near her.
I think she
Is
tripped,
this
bro.
fake news or is it real?
Well, it's real. It's
Real.
Both say real?
Yeah.
That's correct. It's real. That's crazy.
I don't think you could come up with an atomic bomb thing.
Yeah.
Atomic poop bomb.
Yeah.
All right. July 1974. So, man dies at own funeral.
What?
Man dies at own funeral.
Me-
July 1974. Venezuelan fisherman Raymond Rivera Rodriguez woke up, looked around himself, pulled some cotton swabs out of his nose, then
Real.
realized he was in a coffin in his own funeral, and
Real.
promptly had a heart attack and died. His
Real.
relatives subsequently demanded action against the doctor who had incorrectly pronounced him dead the first time.
Real.
Man dies in own funeral.
Real.
So,
Real.
Kenny, you
I
say
think
real?
I've heard of it.
Real.
So say real. It is real. It's real.
Yeah.
I've heard of that one.
Real news. You heard that one, huh?
I've heard a lot of people doing that, like during their wake or when they're putting them in the ground.
When you said his name, I was like, he could not come up with that.
That is a pretty messed up name, Venezuelan fisherman. All right, so next one of fake news is warning required before crime. January 1973. State Representative Jim Castro introduced a bill in the Texas legislation that would have a required criminal to give their victim 24-hour notice before they committed a crime. The notice
What?
could be either oral or in written, but would need to state the nature of a crime to be committed and the
Oral?
time and place it is to be committed in.
Do they just. Why do they call it oral?
Hold on. Because it could be oral, like you could say it
I
verbally.
know, but like.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I say verbally? Argued Castro. Obviously, the criminal is not going to do it, but this would be another punishment that could be added to the penalty. The bill was defeated. Warning required before crime. Was
False.
this fake news or was this
False.
real?
I want to say real.
You
False.
say real and you say fake.
Uh huh.
It was real.
Boom.
Mm.
People are
real.
idiots.
No, because. I don't know. That one was just stupid.
I mean, it is.
Why would anybody come up with a concept like that?
I don't know. It is.
So before you rob somebody's car, tell them you'll do it, and they can have a chance to not let you.
All right. So next one. Ready for this next one? Fake news. November 1980. Remember going back to 1980? That's before even I was born.
Mm.
Heroic janitor fights off crime gang.
Fake.
Melvin Fred has become quite the hero in his New Jersey town when he stepped out and handled the gang of 5 thugs who were harassing the local gym goers. Despite weighing only 100 pounds, the janitor quickly improves his strength after a close encounter with a toxic compound found near the dumpsters of the area gym.
What, he took drugs?
Heroic janitor fights off crime gang. Fake news or real?
I wanted to say, I
I
don't
want
know.
to say real.
I mean, I want to go with fake, but I'm going to say real too.
So both of you say real? That is fake.
I knew it was fake. Because the name didn't make sense. I was like, the name is not it.
So that is actually the one. So what I just described to you was the Toxic Avenger movie from 1984. You should definitely see that.
Wouldn't make sense because
It was a great movie.
The Toxic Avenger.
The
he-
Toxic
You said he
Avenger.
found some increment or something at freaking at a garbage can. I was like,
Yeah,
what
I
are you
was like,
talking about?
Wait a minute, what? And I was like,
Oh,
real.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. We're going to take you up to January 1982.
Uh-huh.
All right. This headline is Ozzy Osbourne bites head off a bat.
True.
Hold on.
I'm pretty sure
Maybe.
that happened.
January 1982. Or was this like folklore? This
No,
would be
I
a fake.
still see
All right.
He
memes.
said it in an interview. he
During
did.
an Ozzy
Yeah.
Osbourne concert in Des Moines, Iowa, a fan tossed a live bat on stage and the singer proceeded to bite its head off. Osbourne later claimed that he thought it had been a toy bat when he put it in his mouth. As a precaution, Osbourne was subsequently given a series of shots for rabies.
Mm-hmm.
A negative reaction to this shot caused him to collapse on stage a week later. Fake news or real? Ozzy
I think he
Osbourne
turned
bites
into
it
a
off.
vampire and he was performing during the day and then he fell on the stage.
That's real.
Yeah, it's real.
Definitely real. Okay, so
We've seen that.
both
That's
got
like one of the news we know.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. I mean, that was a good one, though. Like, that was definitely a good one. All right. We're going back to April 1980. 1980. All the way with reggae. So this one says, all the way with reggae. President Ronald Reagan opened a local reggae-inspired pub called Reggae Reagan's in central New York to help engage the youthful island voters for his election campaign.
True.
It's called All the Way with Reggae.
Seth wasn't listening very well, clearly.
Did you hear it?
I don't know. My
He
phone.
got- hear it one more time?
He got
We'll
a
hit
call
one more
and he had
time.
to look what it was.
Hose be calling. All right, let's do it one more time. All the way with reggae. President Ronald Reagan opened a local reggae-inspired pub called Reggae Reagan's in central New York to help engage the youthful island voters for his election campaign in 1980s. So April 1980. All the way with reggae. Is this fake news or is it real?
Real.
Well, you see, I'd say it's real, but the names are a little weird.
So both of you say real?
What do they call the bar?
It's called Reggae Reagan's. His last name's Reagan's.
Yeah, I mean, that just sounds dumb, though.
Reggae Reagan's. So fake news or real?
Real.
Real.
Real. It is indeed fake.
The fuck?
I knew it! I told you.
You guys are kind of horrible at this.
I was right, though.
You know,
We
like,
got the bat one right.
I was right, though. I was like,
Yeah,
that.
was
The
easy
names
one.
do
That was
not.
the easy one I gave you.
Dude, I said the names doesn't make sense. And you're like,
All right.
know what you're talking about.
So the next one is going to take you up to September 1986. This is the Balloon Fest debacle.
Real.
Balloon Fest debacle.
Is it the one with the little boy?
Listen now. The United Way charity releases 1.5 million balloons in Cleveland Public Square as a fundraising event. However, the charity hadn't thought it through what would happen to the balloons after they released them. And they soon started raining down all over the region, requiring a massive cleanup effort and even forcing parts of the local airport to temporarily shut down airplanes. Balloon debacle.
Real.
September 1986.
I'm pretty
You
sure
say-
they're all real.
So you say real or fake news?
Real.
All right. That is a real story.
How many we got left?
We'll see. I don't know.
You don't know?
There's a couple. There's a few more. All right. The next one. Man drowns at party of lifeguards. The name of these things. July 1985. Jerome Moody drowned while attending a pool party in which over 100 New Orleans lifeguards were celebrating a summer season without drownings. Moody, who had been drinking heavily, fell into the pool at the end of the party just as the lifeguards were ordering everyone out of the water. By the time anyone noticed him in the pool, it had been too late. Man drowns at party of lifeguards. Is this fake news or is this real?
Fake.
Most likely real, but the question is, how drunk was the guy?
I don't know.
Like he couldn't swim at all and make noise or
He's a
anything?
lifeguard, so I mean, that tells you anything. So it's fake news, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Fake news or real?
Real.
It is indeed real.
The fuck?
Yeah, and real. Man
no one's
drowned
seen him in
at
the
a
fucking
party of
pool.
lifeguards. Hey,
Dude, everybody was
he didn't
told to
follow
get
his own
out.
direction. Nobody blowed the whistle on him. So
Yeah. But it's just funny because they were celebrating no drowns.
Yeah, no drowns, and all of a sudden he did die and drown.
right, that sucks, man. That sucks. All right, next one. A Popel Miracle, May 1984. After being brought forward in a wheelchair to receive a blessing from Pope John Paul II, Jan Laverick was wheeled back, at which point he promptly stood up, folded the chair, and carried it away. It must have been a miracle, someone in the crowd gasped. Laverick later explained that it was definitely no miracle. He was fully able-bodied. He had sit down in the wheelchair because there was only one seat left in the Vatican's audience chamber, and he had been too embarrassed to say anything when a Swiss army guard unexpectedly wheeled him forward to the Pope.
Oh shit!
A Popel miracle.
That's real.
Is this fake news or is this real?
It's real, but think about like being like that's just because they would. What if they actually got a person that was actually disabled
Right?
and they took the
And
wheelchair out?
yeah,
and
would that be
the
awesome,
person would
right?
just, no,
That'd
that
be-
person would just fall on the ground.
Maybe.
It
But-
would have been like, well, I don't know.
So, you think the Pope performed a miracle this day, or do you think it was fake news?
Well, it's real. It's
I don't
real.
think it was real, but he didn't perform a miracle.
Okay, so yes, it was a true story. Definitely a true story.
That's funny.
Right? All right. Scientist invents bulletproof wheat.
What?
September 1984. Researcher Larry Rogers of Salinas, California, announced that he had stumbled upon a formula using a mixture of bacteria and grain waste that can make wheat bulletproof. He said that in test, the wheat had stopped a bullet from an M16 rifle. The hardening wheat could also serve as a building material, but still very tasty.
Dude, just
as a
make
noodle.
a house. Just make a house out of it.
That's not true.
Scientist invents bulletproof wheat.
Just think about,
Fake.
would you be, so they said it was still edible, right?
Yeah, it said it still makes a very tasty noodle.
What would you have to boil it first then?
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
So you just have to boil somebody alive to kill them when they have the wheat on?
No, I mean, the noodle, you could use it as eating, you could eat the noodles or you could use it to wear it to
They're like,
stop
dude,
all the
I'm
bullets.
sorry, you
shooting
have all
at
the
you.
noodles on you.
Third world country, it could be extremely helpful. I don't know. Scientist invents bulletproof wheat. Is this fake news or is it real?
Real.
Fake.
All right, so Kenny, you say real.
Real.
Seth, you say fake.
Mm-hmm.
It is indeed real.
I don't think he could come up with those.
It is
that,
real.
the hell?
that
I'm
wording.
extremely good, by the way. I could definitely come up with
Dude,
that.
every
in real
single
life.
one that's false, I've been like, I think this one is false. But
You definitely got them all wrong, pretty much.
yeah, but
That's
I
what-
was like, I think this one is false. But I'm going to go with the other answer.
So which one was your favorite one?
That's
Favorite?
it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all of them. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
all the one I got. I can't go forever. So what was your favorite one of those?
Probably the bingo lady.
The bingo lady and the sex life.
Yeah, that one was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
That was.
Dude, I knew that one. You said before I was born, I was like, this one's going to be fake. Automatically. And it was. I was like, damn it.
All right. So like when you think of news, right? If you think of news and all this stuff growing up with you guys have seen, we've seen breaking news in the past. And then I know like Seth, you were really young, but I remember seeing the breaking news from Michael Jackson when he had passed. That was kind of cool. It was like
Don't
middle
act
of
like
nowhere.
you remember that.
Yeah, I mean, he remember,
He's
but
like,
he actually
mhm.
became. But these guys, both of you guys, really became fans of Michael Jackson after he died.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of all the publicity after the fact, and you hear the music more and blah blah blah. But both of you became fans after that. Obviously, with me growing up, I had a lot of different things that panned in with news. Obviously, 9/11. That was like a world changer for me. Like that. Coming into 9/11 and having that
I mean, we
happen.
still talk about it every.
Yeah, but it's not like actually seeing the original newscast. Like I remember waking up that morning and getting
Yeah.
ready for work because I worked night shifts, and I remember walking in the living room, and my buddy Matt had came over and he knocked on the door. He goes, "Are you watching TV?" And I'm like, "No, I just woke up." He's like, "Turn the news on, turn the news on." So he turns it on, and you literally see them replaying this airplane running into the freaking towers. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, is this a movie? Like, it doesn't seem real. So I got to encounter that firsthand. Some of the things around that, I mean, it's crazy because news, when you get breaking news, it happens and it's in your lifetime. Like you said, you still talk about it today. And that's kind of crazy. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this awesome podcast of fake news. And hopefully we get some more of these segments coming for you. So, as always, I appreciate you guys listening, and we will be talking to you soon. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of A Blast from the Past podcast, brought to you by Decades Music and Entertainment.
New episodes dropping every Thursday.
Yeah!